Then we also investigated whether power two-wheeler users were considered as vulnerable road users, because obviously in terms of safety policy, involvement into transport policy, etc., it has an impact. And we found out that this was not the case everywhere. So riders and passengers on PTWs are legally considered as vulnerable road users in several countries, on all roads, in Austria, Czech Republic, Germany, Ireland, Luxembourg, Norway, and Sweden. They are considered, depending on the topic, but as vulnerable road users in Finland, France, and UK, but not from a legal perspective, which has an impact into let's say, the liability and all this afterwards. Not legally speaking, let's say. And then in Belgium and in the Netherlands, strangely enough, they're not vulnerable road users at all. We also investigate whether there were some kind of black spot procedures for infrastructure elements. So indeed, a lot of countries do collect and do have procedures to identify black spots for what concerns infrastructure. France, Ireland, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Poland, Spain, Sweden, and the UK do collect problems for motorcyclists. In Austria, Belgium, and Latvia, they do have procedure for black spot monitoring, but not for PTWs. And then Czech Republic, Finland, Germany, and Greece have no procedure, no data, no collection process for black spots. So there is no harmonization of this black spot. Might be something to think about. Also, the element of the involvement of the riders community into this and the development of new technology like the smart applications with the identification of black spot. I know there are some initiatives in the Netherlands in that sense. Could also be considered. But at this point in time, this is the situation. So again, we've asked member states, representatives, and the community to come up with recommendations. Without surprise, at standardization level, and because of all the work that has already taken place, I mean, recommendation to finally come up with a standard for guardrails, which integrates motorcyclists, came first with several countries: Austria, Germany, Sweden, twice Austria and Ireland. But also recommendation came from Germany to implement PTW safety aspects into road safety assessment and road safety inspection procedures. From Austria, there was recommendation that the need of power two-wheeler specific, whatever. I mean that EU standards needed to integrate PTW requirements, particularly with regard to road quality, friction, and evenness. As for harmonization, there was some request to work on harmonizing the use of infrastructure and road construction, road inspection on secondary roads, because we know that this was under discussion within the infrastructure directive, but at the end of the day, the infrastructure directive only applied to the 10T network. But there are some countries who would like it to apply to secondary network. And more generally speaking, the integration of PTW user requests into regular road requirements. And one country did not want the EU to do anything, but that was just for the joke. Recommendations. Improve the communication around the implementation of the guidelines. Suggestion to make use of roundtables of motorcycle safety, maybe like this one, the Motorcyclist Forum, but if we need to find a way to motivate engineers to use these guidelines, whether mandatory solution mandating the use is a solution or not, and that's up to you to discuss. Expand the infrastructure directive to the secondary road was also recommended. The test on guardrail we discussed, periodic maintenance of road, and improvement of traffic signalization on road dangerous for motorcycles. In terms of research, safer road design, with lateral research into the lateral impact and protection, with more forgiving road environment. Research in how to make roads self-explaining, how to understand the effect of road environment. No, to better understand the effect of road environment on road users. And how to enhance reciprocal perception of riders and drivers. With regard to road maintenance, research into more durable roads, how to make safer walk zone also was identified, and specific countermeasures for local accidents, so in relation with the black spot management. So that was for infrastructure. But as I said, we did not only focus on infrastructure, we also focused on, more generally speaking, the road environment, road traffic. And to this, I think we also need to consider the evolution in the road transport in general, and the increased automation within road transport, which is coming and which is being seen within manufacturers, car manufacturers, etc., and also discussions on the future of road transport. And the reason why I'm putting this slide is that this slide came from a last week presentation at the e-mobility forum, and this was the roadmap for automation with, in the blue arrows, the automation, the industrialization phase, and when, I'm sorry, it's not very clear, but the dates set up for full automation is 2020, 2028. So it's a decade or more, a bit more from now. It's 15 years from now. And this leads me to come to how power two-wheelers will integrate this automation process, because it raises a question with regard to the transition period when we're going to have automated vehicle, semi-automated vehicle, and how this will interact with the traffic environment when we're going to ride with vehicles which are partly automated, motorcycles which are partly automated or not. And as I said, the project was not very ambitious in this area. We just wanted to know at national level what was done, if there was anything done already in the way of using technology for traffic management and how power two-wheelers were integrated. And in fact, there is not much done. Many countries actually said that there was no ITS for traffic management yet. This was the case for Belgium, Bulgaria, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Norway. Not quite sure, actually, the expertise of the person I had was also touching very much into traffic management. So, but definitely power two-wheelers are not considered here at all. And this, of course, has an impact when we're going to talk about automation of transport and the future of transport, when we're going to see the interaction between the vehicle and the infrastructure, for instance, or the interaction between the different categories of vehicles, communication between vehicles, or not talking about the technology on the vehicle itself. And this will have a tremendous importance at the moment when we're going to have to train the riders, and all the mental change that will impact the riding activity, which is unknown. So that was just for identification. The research needs for what concerns ITS and traffic management, then the list is huge, because from user acceptance elements, there is also questions related to ITS efficiency, the calculation of the relative harm reduction, also the prioritization of the ITS systems, which technology first, let's say. But most importantly, in my view, is the fundamental research that goes before all this, is the information about the cognitive workload, about the riding elements, the riding model that lays behind the technology development or the impact assessment. So the list of research is huge. I'm not entering into the details, but obviously we will be able to comment today. So here it is. I leave the floor to you, Chris. You have a big session to handle, but make sure we actually touch upon the two elements. Okay. Thanks.